Welcome back to another episode. I just showered and lathered myself with this, which is a beef tallow lotion from Primally Pure. This is the second one that I've gone through. It's almost out. But this is all like non-toxic stuff, which I love. And this is also a really nice tallow lotion. I use this one on my face, and this one's like more of a whipped texture. The CO2 or whatever they use to make it whipped also takes out like any like beef scent, so it's scentless. And this is really good for like acne prone skin. I used to have really acne prone skin, and I think honestly it was part hormones, part gut health. But now I am having a little bit of acne, and that is because I am pregnant. So, as of filming this, which you guys probably won't see this for another week, but I am 8 weeks pregnant. I feel like most people probably don't talk about it until the first trimester is done, which would be another month. But I figured that because most people don't talk about it, I know that there's some like risks associated, but I would be open with you guys and keep you updated on how it's going. And God forbid anything happens, which I'm sure it doesn't, then it also gives me a chance to talk about that when I'm ready and if it happens. So I am 8 weeks pregnant, and I know it's a boy. It's just like an intuitive thing. So I'm very excited. Months ago, you would have seen that I painted the nursery blue. That is why. And I wasn't even pregnant at that time. Again, it's just like an intuitive thing. I feel like a lot of women have that. And if you know, you know. But in this video, we are going to do a little bit of a new year reset on the house. And before I get that started, I am doing sort of a reset for myself. So I just showered, shaved, hydrated my skin. I'm going to put on a little bit of makeup. This is like my everyday makeup, and then blow dry my hair. And then we will get into it. So I just put a little bit of that tallow on my face, which all of that's like non-toxic and pregnancy safe. I've already been warned that if you're pregnant or if you have a kid and you're parenting, that everybody has an opinion and wants to tell you how you're supposed to do things and what's good and what's bad. And I'm going to say it right now, I don't want to hear it. So unless you have something good and helpful to say, please just like don't, because you're going to hear it from me if you do. So anyway, this is a really great non-toxic skincare brand. This is a face oil. I asked for this for Christmas because we were trying to conceive, and I had heard that it was really good and hydrating and safe to use. It's oily, but it soaks in fast. So actually, this one I typically use at night because it's much thicker. And then this I will use in the morning after I work out, before I put a little bit of makeup on. On days even that I'm like not really putting on makeup, I will still put this on. This Say, and this is like quite a dark shade. This is Sun Glow, which is one down from their darkest shade. Because I'm in South Florida and I feel like even in winter, I have a little bit of a tan. So I put this on everywhere. This, when I first started using it, really clogged my pores like horribly and was making me break out. And I didn't stop using it even though I wanted to, because nothing really compares. And I feel like my skin adapted. Like now I don't have any problems with it. So it does add a little bit of glow to the skin. Probably my skin is like more glowy now because I just put the oil in, and that will soak in as we get going. Just a little bit of concealer. This is the Kosas, and it's in 1.5C. I will also say I have had long nails with dip gel for So long. My mom let me start doing that, started letting me do like acrylics. I swear in middle school, I was like in 8th grade, which is insane. But after that, I did gel, and then eventually I did the dip gel. And anyway, I've had my nails done nonstop for so long, and I decided that because I'm pregnant, I would go on a natural nail journey. I would say 50% of it was because I'm so exhausted this trimester. My energy is so low that I just want less things to worry about. And the other 50% of the decision is to keep things like low to no toxicity. We'll see how that goes. Right now, they're just like so paper thin. You can see like how far up they're breaking, like halfway up the nail bed, which is so yikes. But I took my nails off like 2 days ago and I just had them put on non-toxic nail polish. But I think in a day or two, I'm gonna just take the nail polish off all the way and ride it out. I'm sure it will get better fast. Or at least that's what I'm telling myself. Okay, then I put a little bit extra bronzer on my cheeks. This is Merit and the color is Monarch. I like to keep it really high up on the cheek like this, like almost under the eye. And also just a touch under the chin to cut the jawline. Then I go basically back and forth between 3 different blushes. One is the Merit Bespoke, which is quite dark. The Rare Beauty Joy, which is very corally. And the Milk Beauty Muse color, which is what I typically end up wearing. It's like a bright berry color. And I always put it on my hand like this. And I blend it with the brush on my hand so that you don't muddy up the colors, so that you don't blend your bronzer into the blush. And then I just tap on the nose. For the eyebrows, I just use the Sephora brand pencil. And this is shade 4, Midnight Brown. I don't know if you can see, but I have like little to no eyebrow here. I haven't done my eyebrows, like had them waxed or trimmed or threaded in 4 years, probably, maybe 3. But they just grow like this and I don't get like hairs anywhere else. But I'm curious to see like through pregnancy if they will get fuller. I've never had my eyebrows laminated or my eyelashes laminated, but I would be curious to see if I like it because I hate wearing mascara. And for me, kind of like at least putting this gel on my eyebrows every day is like a non-negotiable. So I feel like I might really like it to make me look a little bit more put together on the daily with like out having to put in more effort. It would be a miracle if these end of my eyebrow filled out from pregnancy. I've heard that your hair grows and like your skin glows. I don't think that I'm to that point yet. Everything feels very dry. I've been super itchy, so I've been taking histamine digest, which apparently there's some like sleep aid for pregnancy that starts with a C. I have no idea what it's called. My acupuncturist told me, but it's basically just histamine digest marketed as like a sleep supplement for pregnancy. So I started taking that, and I'm not kidding, I couldn't get my sleep score above like 65. And now that I've been taking histamine digest, I'm like back in the 90s. And I am also getting in bed 2 hours earlier than normal because I'm constantly waking up through the night. But getting in bed 2 hours earlier and taking that has like really helped my sleep score. And then my energy was still quite low. So workouts were getting tough, and just like your body feels like so heavy throughout the day, which I get it. You're like growing another human. But I got back on my liver pills, and for me, I have the MTHFR gene mutation. And I think because there's like riboflavin in the beef liver capsules naturally, and like high doses of B vitamins in general inside of that, that for whatever reason, within the first day of taking that, like most of my energy came back. So it has really been a godsend. So I started the beef liver pills maybe like a week and a half ago. And even my trainer was like, whoa, what happened? All of a sudden your like morning energy is totally back. And I swear that's what it was. Also, I know people get like weird aversions. And I don't have any weird aversions and I don't have any weird cravings. I would say that I feel a little bit nauseous like right after a workout if I don't eat. So I've been eating eggs per my acupuncturist request because I guess you want to keep the body warm, like internally for your chi. And I wear socks all the time now too. So I'm still working out, I'm still walking. I'm definitely a little bit hungrier, but no real cravings. And then the only two things that I have like an absolute aversion to right now are one, the smell of like people vaping, like nicotine vapes makes me want to immediately throw up. I can't stand it. And the other thing that I have an aversion to is like TV. Like I notice if I'm watching TV, like it's different if it's a podcast where I'm learning something, but like just mindless TV, I get thinking to myself, like, this activity is like wasting my life away, like giving me no value, not mentally stimulating, like not learning anything. Like, I would rather be in silence and like meditate or ground outside or like read a book. I don't know what it is, but I feel like it's just one of those weird, like emotional, like existential crisis that you start to have when you're like, okay, now I'm going to be a parent one day and like have someone else to look after and teach and like instill good values in. And you're like, what the hell is this? You're just like wasting your life away. So, anyway, so funny, but let's get back into this. I am going to start blow drying my hair. And I got a new camera for Christmas. So it's right here. And right now you're suction cupped on the mirror. So I'm going to try filming with this other camera. Okay, we are going to head out because I really need to style up the living room. I'm going to show you guys my process with that, but before I get started, I need to stock up on some greenery and florals. So let's go. I'm going to take you guys with me. Okay, I just hopped in the car and I'm running to the florist really quick. It's in Davie off of like Griffin Road. And I can't remember for the life of me what it is called right now. I swear it's the hormones giving me such brain fog, but I've been going for years. It's kind of like wholesale florist style, like where you can buy bundles of flowers or you can buy flowers by the stem. They have two different sections. And I would say it's reasonably priced, but it's nice to go there. Some things are priced quite high, but those are the flowers and greenery that you can't find other places. So they have a very wide variety, and a lot of the stuff you can't find unless you go to a wholesale florist, which I either go here or a wholesale florist called Full Pot, which is in, I don't know if it's considered Pompano, but it's basically Pompano West, like Sample Road west of 95. And yeah, if you don't live in South Florida and this stuff isn't accessible to you, I feel like a good route to go is Trader Joe's. They have a decent selection and it is reasonably priced. So that's what I would do. But I will pick you guys up when I get there and show you inside. I just pulled up to Field of Flowers. That is the name of the flower shop that I am at today. And thank God I know how to get here by heart because I couldn't remember the name. God forbid I had to map it. So let's head in. I got home from Flowers an hour and a half ago and the exhaustion hit and I literally had to lay down. So I laid down for like 45 minutes and fell asleep. I just woke back up and thank God I did that because we have friends about 45 minutes out. They're spending the night with us tonight. It's her birthday. We're going to dinner and then they're going to Miami tomorrow. So I'm happy that I feel fresh so that I can be social and alive for dinner. What a shame that would be for them to drive here to see us and me be literally a zombie. So, flowers. I have 3 different types of flowers. These yellow ones, which I like for the living room. There's a vase that they go well in. These beautiful garden roses that I'm going to put in the kitchen, and I might put one in this little bud stem on my nightstand. And then this greenery, this is eucalyptus. There's 2 different types of eucalyptus, the like sort of like sand dollar eucalyptus with those nice circle leaves, and then this one. So I'm going to get these in a vase. Here are my flowers from 2 weeks ago. This is your PSA. If you don't buy yourself flowers, you should buy yourself flowers every 2 weeks. If your house feels like it's missing something, buy yourself flowers. If you feel like you're in a rut in between the holidays, buy yourself flowers. If a part of the house doesn't feel well decorated, buy flowers. If something doesn't feel styled, buy flowers. If you feel like you just moved in somewhere and you don't have enough sort of decor where you have that homey feel, go buy flowers or even go outside and just trim like tree limbs for greenery and like really make a statement piece. I did that for a long time when we had first moved in the living room because our ceilings are so high and I collect things low and slow over time. So I did not move in here with like a full furniture set from Lulu in Georgia or something. Like I've been piecing together the house little by little because it's more timeless like that. It's more unique. It feels more you. The pieces have a story. It just does something. It gives your house a soul, and you just can't do that when you are buying things all out of the box. So greenery is a great way to do that. If you can't or don't have a tree that you like outside of where you live, I drive around with shears in the back of my car and I will trim a tree to get good greenery. So anyway, every 2 weeks, it is the best thing ever to buy yourself flowers. I even did it in college when there was like no money to do anything and I would not go to the bars and not drink so that I could literally buy myself flowers. And it was great. I had people come over to our house. I had 4 roommates. I was the 5th roommate. The amount of people I had ask me if I had an interior designer come over and do my bedroom was too many to count. I made all the art in my room and I always had flowers. So I feel like I'm really hammering this home, but you should definitely buy flowers. It makes such a difference and it really just like uplifts your space and gives you a little bit of joy every day. I like to keep them on the kitchen island, the nightstands, although I didn't get flowers today for the nightstand, but just in the master because nobody else lives here except my husband and I. And I like to do a little vase in the master bathroom. Also the coffee table in the living room. Anywhere that you are on a daily basis in your house, is nice, but obviously the more flowers, the more expensive, but definitely like high touch points, like pick two and get flowers and you really, really will not regret it. I have not styled the house since clearing it out with Christmas decorations, and not having all of the decor back where it belongs still makes the house feel empty, and I'm in this like weird in-between place where it doesn't quite feel homey after being so beautifully decorated for the holidays. So I want to show you guys a little bit of the process. I've had a couple comments on videos asking to show how I style pieces and decorate around the house, which is such a wonderful suggestion because what the heck, right? I take you guys with me everywhere, vintage shopping and piecing things together and redoing rooms. But just like the simple styling of tables and vignettes around the house. So that's what I plan to do with you guys and sort of show you my method, because there is a method. There are different rules that I sort of follow, or at least different rules that I know in my mind that I keep if I get in a rut. And then I sort of forget about the rules and flow with the styling. And if something doesn't quite feel right, things feel off and you can't put your finger on it, then you refer back to the rules and think, okay, how's the texture? How's the tone? How are the height variations? I split tables into quadrants or 3 sections depending on the size. So anyway, we'll get all into that, but I think that you guys will find it helpful and it will be a fun thing for us to do together. Okay, this is an Aran vase. I will link it down below. It's been in my ShopMy forever, so if I forget, check ShopMy, but just wanted to show you, I don't do too much water in the bottom. This vase is so tall, yeah, that I'm not even gonna cut these down much. I'm just going to, I didn't cut length off, I just gave this a slanted cut because it freshens up the bottom and it allows them to drink water. You trim a stem so that it's the length that you like, and then you lay the stem down. And each rose that you pick up, you're going to measure the stem against this one and get them cut the same length. So I will just leave that one stem and keep measuring. Look how pretty those are. They were on the pricier side to have like garden roses like this, so I didn't get enough to really fill this up, but still worth it in my opinion. And then I do need to style this up a little bit, but with the little bit of orange and pink, I felt like it would go good with this. So I'm just going to knock these out really quick. Same thing. Let me think. These, I think I'm gonna put a bunch on each nightstand. I can't even remember. This is so crazy, but I went in the store, I got these 3 different types and I had a plan and I totally forgot where things are going. So I'm just now remembering, I think I actually got 2 bunches of the eucalyptus to fill out this vase on the counter. My brain is so crazy, so fried from hormones or something. But anyway, now that I did this, this is beautiful in here, and I spend so much time in the kitchen. I think that I will enjoy them in here. Instead, I'm going to put a bunch of eucalyptus for each nightstand in the master, and then the yellow I bought for the living room table, so I will keep it that way. Okay, these I had in the living room on the coffee table. I think these are azaleas. This was 2 bunches to really fill this out. I'm a creature of habit, so I noticed that I tend to either put azaleas, orchids, white orchid stems. You'll see on my Valenti-Interiors Instagram page, I always have like white orchids. But in the living room, I like to do white orchids. This vase lives permanently on the living room coffee table, whether I have flowers or not. And because of this handkerchief shape, it looks good with taller stems and things that either have a lot of height variation or are really bushy. So I love the azaleas. I love white orchid stems, which you do have to kind of go to a specialty florist to find those. At least I have not seen them before at like a Trader Joe's. And then these, which I have no idea what these are called, but I get quite a few to really fill this out. So that's what I'm going to use today. These, I typically go about a little bit differently to cut them. I don't do it stem by stem. I do it as a little bunch, but I still measure. So I will take this vase like this and then slide the flowers down like this until they're like the right height. And then I know that I'm gonna cut them right here, like at the top of the counter. Once you've done this, you can also kind of reverse engineer it and take a trimming of the stem and just see where it hits like this to get these the same height. And I have to say, having really good quality floral scissors makes this process much more enjoyable. It's also nice to have a really good pair of gardening shears, because if you buy greenery, a lot of types of greenery have like really woody stems, and it's very difficult to cut through the woody stems, especially getting like a nice angle cut at the bottom if you only have scissors. Although floral scissors, these ones I will link down below, are much sharper than your normal scissor, kind of like how a fabric scissor is much sharper. It just makes it so much easier. And if you start doing this often, there's nothing like using beautiful tools that work well for the activities that you do on a weekly or some kind of regular cadence. It's like having a good kitchen knife. It just gets the job done. After a little bit of deliberation, I decided I would use this vase for one bunch of eucalyptus, and this vase, which this one's vintage Wedgwood, little pedestal guy, for another bunch. This, I think, for the Master of Vanity, and this for styling the side table in the living room. I think this is my favorite vase that I own, but I don't use it often with florals in it because a lot of florals don't sit well in here, like because of the wide lip, but it is my favorite. It's so beautiful. It's so pretty as a styling piece, even with nothing in it. And this one, this buttery yellow round guy, is Zara Home. So inexpensive, but it is not available anymore. I think last time I mentioned it, I tried to link it for you guys and it was gone. When you put anything in water, greenery or florals, you don't want any leaves or greenery to be in the water or really anywhere near the water line at all. So for example, this needs to come off. And then any little leaves on here need to come off. And because these are very woody stems, quite thick woody stems, I'm going to split the stem maybe like 1/4 of an inch at least up. Just like that, to help it drink water. Not all of the stems will need that because there are some that are thinner stems, but the thicker ones for sure. And for these, I like a lot of variation in height, and you kind of have to work with the stem itself. Like some stems, maybe they're not going to work well in this space, so they will go in the smaller vase. That's just sort of the nature of working with greenery like this. You don't get cohesive stem lengths. Okay, I am going to show you guys how I style up the side table in the living room. That is my designated area to display different collections, meaning just things that I have collected over time. I don't love tchotchkes all around the house, but I do like to corral them in a vignette, in a corner of the house, or on a table. And when I was designing this space, I really wanted to make sure I had an area in the center of the home, in the living room, that was big enough that I could display things. So I have a large round dining room table as my side table in the living room, wedged between 2 couches, and that is the home, or at least display area, for most of my collections. So before we get styling, I just wanted to sit down for a brief moment and walk you through a couple of things. I typically style a vignette or a table one of 2 ways. One is a mixture of many different items together. And when I do that, I am really focusing on 3 different things, which is tone, texture, and height. So I like to mix different height items. I sort of keep the same tone. So right now you can see we have like mostly neutrals, brown, silver, white, some like buttery yellow off-white, and textures. So we have some things that are like primitive wood, high shine with the silver, rough with the shells, and it's many different items all together, sort of playing off of each other. I like to have a little bit of a color story at least, or some kind of through line when I do that, but it's really bringing all of my favorite items into one place. The second way that I like to style is really hone down on a niche collection of one item or all things of one colorway. So that would look something like all sterling silver items. Maybe some julep vases with flowers in it for a little bit of variation, but really everything would be trays, catch-alls, bowls, ashtrays, julep cups, like that, or all, you know, white and off-white vases like this, many different heights, scales, shapes, but they're all white or off-white vases. So, or even one of my favorite ones that I've done is just all lattice, all white lattice, a whole collection of it on the table. Giant pieces, really small pieces, but it's a full table of the same collection of one thing or one color. So anyway, today we are going with option 1, which is a mixture of many different things. This you won't see off camera once I get started, so I wanted to show it to you now, but it's just my dining room table filled up with an inventory of items that I would like to style with today. All of this won't get used, but at least it's all in one spot. It makes the process more fun. You can get into a flow without having to run all around the house searching for items. You kind of have everything on deck. So I have small items over here. These are going to kind of be filler items. I have some boxes back here. These are great. Like this one has Polaroid photos in it right now and a lighter, but you can put matchsticks, remote for the TV, remote for a gas fireplace. It's just practical. Some vases and vessels. This is good for height, but also it's practical. As I refresh this table throughout the month, I can add different florals in here without having to change the styling of the table itself. I usually keep my table styled the same way for a couple months at a time. Here we have catch-alls and bowls, some candles, and then this whole area is what I call sculptural items. So these are like my favorite things to collect. They add something so fresh and unique to a space that it's always an eye catcher, it's always a conversation starter, and they're just really fun to look for. So these are my sculptural items, and what you can't see here because I'm keeping the stack didn't fit on the dining room table, so it's around the corner, are coffee table books, which are going to be essential. I start off any styling with a foundation of coffee table books, usually a couple stacks, and that provides the base layer for all of the other items. So let's meet over by this table and I will show you how I like to get started. Okay, so to start off any table styling, I like to split up the table into zones. For a round table, I typically will split it into quadrants, just like this. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 different sections. So right now, I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer and start off with those quadrants in mind and then slowly add things in. And I am going to keep a little bit of an open space right here in the middle because I like to have a grounding focal piece in the middle of this table. Typically, it's something quite large, like a big cast iron urn that I can put big greenery branches in. But today I don't have any branches or anything. I do have a vase. Anyway, we're gonna play around with it, but I like to have something with some more height because as you saw, many of the decorations that I have are quite small objects. And if I have a floral arrangement or greenery that's quite low to the table, it's going to cover up a lot of that stuff. Instead of it being higher up, and as you walk around the table, you get little glimpses of different things. It's like the table is revealing itself to you over time when it gets really stacked up. And from every angle, you have a different view or notice a different object, and it's really just so beautiful. Without this styled, our entire common area does not have the same feeling to it. So I'm excited to get this styled back up. And like I said, we're going to start with these quadrants. So I'm going to bring you in closer and start building up with some books. And you'll see that many of my coffee table books have notes in them. I leave them like that because I'm always pulling these back out to reference them, and I take a lot of time to go through these, so I don't remove that for styling. There's something in our brain that is really drawn to odd number of pairings. So you'll see often what I do is, like, if there's a stack of books, I put 2 objects on it so that it is in a set of 3 or a set of 5. That is another good way to kind of check yourself if things start to feel off. I don't believe that these rules are hard and fast rules. The best thing to do is to get in the flow state because kind of your rational mind gets out of the way and you get into this creative flow where beautiful things end up happening. But if your styling and things are feeling off, you can refer back to looking at texture, tone, and height, your quadrants of the table, or if it's a rectangular table, your three sections, left, middle, and right. And then also your number of pairings. 3 or 5 is typically what I look for. So on many of these books, you'll notice I have 2 objects sitting on top, or 1 large object, or 5. So that's something to keep in mind when you get going on this process. Okay, so you can see that as I've started, I have a taller item with a lower profile item, the same as what I did here. Diagonally, I have a lower profile catch-all and a higher profile decorative object, something sculptural, to sort of balance that height and overall appearance of these two. And I will likely do the same thing here. Now, once I have this base layer, you'll notice as I add things in, I might move this at an angle or move things front and back some as I fill in around here. Because like I said, the quadrants are just to get you started, to give you that foundational layer and to give you just a little bit of structure. It's often easier with creative tasks to have some bit of structure. You don't want to have absolutely no reins and no rules at all. It's a beautiful thing, but it does make it harder to get started. So now that we're started, we're really going to have fun with it, balancing out the colors and materialities and adding in a lot of those little objects. I see that I need to balance out some of these darker tones. So I'm going to add this in. And I need something to put some matches in. So I'm going to add in this pearlescent box. I don't know if it's coming up on camera, but it's mother of pearl. So it has that iridescent shine to it. And then to balance that, I'm going to put this, which also has that iridescent color to it. You also want to make sure that all the items aren't facing one direction. So as you can see, I have books, some horizontal, some vertical, and the same with like the boxes. Anything that has a clear direction, you just want to make sure that you have a little bit of variety so that it doesn't look too planned. These are some of my absolute favorite pieces that I own. There was a set of like 12 or 15 of them at an antique store years ago, and I couldn't afford the whole set, so I ended up with 3. Matches and a candle. This is one from Amazon, but a candle for me is kind of mandatory just because when it's nighttime, it's really looks great for this table to have a glow and kind of illuminate the items on it when all of the lights are off. I I'm a big proponent of having all of the lights off at night, except for a couple of candles and a lamp. No overhead lights, so this really looks best when it's lit up some. I think we need at least one more candle, so I'm gonna see if I can find a spot. And then I was hoping to put this on here, but it's too low profile. It's going to cover up a lot of these smaller objects that I want visible. So instead, I'm gonna grab an orchid arrangement that I have on the outdoor dining room table and see if that will work. Okay, I could play around with this for hours, but it feels good how it is now. So I might make some slight adjustments as I'm walking back and forth today and tomorrow, but I am going to live with this and see how it feels. And if anything feels off, or I need a little bit more candlelight, or a spot for a different arrangement in the middle, then I will adjust accordingly. But this should remain the same for a couple months, and the living room really just doesn't feel the same without it. So I hope that you guys found this valuable, that it inspired you, and that you saw a couple items that I pulled that you would like to hunt for, because honestly, that is the most enjoyable part of the entire process, is discovering what you like and getting out and hunting around for those items. It's so fun. There's always a story behind the item or behind how you got it, and it just makes your space so much more personal. So if you made it this far in this video, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video. It really helps the algorithm push me to new viewers so that they can find my content. And if you haven't already, please subscribe or drop a comment down below. One of you guys requested that I did a little bit more of how I style things, which is why I made this video today. And I have a lot of fun showing you guys different things in my life. So if there's anything else that you'd like to see from me, please let me know down below. I am always reading your comments and responding to them, and it really is invaluable information. So I will see you guys next week for another video. Bye.